Renanim, half a day, and Happy New Year from Cobbs Corner. Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Talk Time with Morgan Cobbs. I'm your host, Morgan Cobbs. Notice I said half a day because I just got back from Guam this past week. I just got back from Guam New Year's Day. So, half a day to any of my listeners over in Guam. I enjoyed my time on your island. I can't wait to go back. See, I even got a Guam flag. Can't really see it, but it's a little hand drum. And good morning to any and all Cobbs Corner listeners who are on this side of the planet. Good morning. Thank you for waking up with us on your Sunday morning. Listeners here in the FSM, whether you're in Chuuk, Yap, Kosrae, or Pohnpei, Palau, Saipan, Guam. Thank you for waking up with us on this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Sunday morning. And good evening to my listeners on the East Coast. I know back home in Connecticut, you've recently gotten some snow. So big shout out to my listeners in my home state, Connecticut. Good evening. I realize it's about 5 p.m. Eastern time right now. And good early evening to my listeners in the States. And so let's just jump right into it because, again, it has been a hot minute since I've last talked to you all. I hope you all had an enjoyable holiday season and are excited about the new year. I'll be kind of turning the clock back a bit to kind of discuss like some of the items that I've written down. Since we last spoke, I had spent, I think it was like weekend before Christmas, I spent 2 nights on an island called Pisar. Pisar, it's a private island in the Chuuk Lagoon. Again, shout out to my listeners here in Chuuk. It's a private island that's available for rent. And the school, we rented the island for 2 nights. And I mean, this island, the accommodations were very, very primitive is not the word I want to use. But they were, it's pretty much like a shelter kind of. We had beds, we brought our own gas stove, we sailed over on boats. Honestly, I felt like I was on Survivor. This whole, living on this tiny little island with like we had to bring a generator. There's like no electricity, and I'm kind of like away from the rest of society. I feel like Castaway. Castaway is a movie I've been meaning to actually watch and review. So let me know if you guys want me to review Castaway. I feel like either Castaway or Survivor. So but it was fun. We did some snorkeling. I don't really snorkel. It's like, and it's funny because it's 2024 now. So probably my earliest memory is circa spring/summer of 2004. I was 3 years old. And I remember at the Stratford YMCA, shout out to the town of Stratford, Stratford YMCA. It's been a hot minute since I've been out there. Swimming for the very first time. I was 3 years old. I get in the shallow end. It was probably, it couldn't have been more than like 3 or 4 feet of water. I just got in the water and I just cried for 15 minutes. Just cried for like 15, 20 minutes straight. My dad's like, get in there and swim. I'm just sitting there just, yeah. So. And that was in a pool. That was in a controlled environment where there's like lifeguards and, it's like swim lessons. We're swimming in an open ocean. All right. Pisar. Okay, not an open ocean. You see, Pisar is, I realized, kind of at the edge of the Chuk Lagoon. Because on the other side of Pisar, we can actually see the Pacific Ocean. The Pacific Ocean, where there's all the big kahunas, the really big waves coming in. But then for us here on the island of Weta and for the other islands in the Chuk Lagoon, like Fefin, Sis, Tonoas, um, Pisar, they're protected. Like the outer islands of the Chuk Lagoon kind of protect the inner islands, so we don't get any of those big waves. They don't reach us in the lagoon. But yeah, I mean swimming. So that's how we're able to like safely do snorkeling in the channel. And but I went into the water without any of the. You see, I wear a men's size 15, size 17 US. That's my shoe size, and I don't think any of those flippers would have even fit me. So like, I get in the water with like my Crocs on, and I'm trying to like swim and keep up with everybody else. I have a snorkel. I'm trying to keep up with everybody else, but then like it just didn't work out, and like the water wasn't even that deep. But I'm like stepping on corals and stuff, like a whole coral reef. I'm stepping on corals left and right, and then next thing you know, I'm like, as one of my colleagues put it, I was doing the running man to try and keep up. I was just like, help, come back, wait for me. So yeah, that was snorkeling on Pisar. Nice island. I got to walk around the island. Got to walk around the island a couple times. Nice to kind of get away from stuff, get away from the world every now and again. And like I said in my last episode of Talk Time, just kind of take some time for yourself, time to just like relax and decompress and just kind of inhale and exhale. Yeah. So that was Pisar. Yep, that was Pisar. And then after Pisar, it was a bit bittersweet. I mean, the holiday season, and not so much that I couldn't go home for Christmas. It's that, well, I didn't go home for Christmas, and it was my first Christmas away from my family back in the States, back in Connecticut. I did get to talk to them, which was great. We did a whole like family Zoom, WhatsApp video call. I've been like using WhatsApp as my primary mode of communication with everyone else. Family WhatsApp call, and yeah, it was good to see my family back in Connecticut, even though I could not be with them physically. And this is my first Christmas away from home, and I realized for my family, this was our second Christmas in our new house, and yeah, I mean, it was a different experience. I realized, Christmas is, celebrated out here in Chuk, just like it is back in the States. And yeah, I mean, the food, we had Christmas dinner was good. There was Christmas dinner. There was, main course. There was dessert. And I don't know about you all, but like, I kind of like maybe kind of like a low key Christmas. It's like, I realized even back home, like the past couple of years, well, for a multitude of reasons, COVID mainly, our past couple of Christmases have been kind of just low key Christmases. Like I think 2020 and 2021, we didn't have any family over. We couldn't because, COVID. But even post pandemic, it's like just kind of having like a chill Christmas, like at least chill during the day. Maybe you have family over for brunch, maybe family over for Christmas dinner, family over for brunch, maybe. Like I remember last year was our first Christmas in our new house. And I think Christmas Eve we had, I think my father's side of the family came over for dinner Christmas Eve. And then on Christmas, we had my mom's side of the family over for dinner. But then my brother and my sister, we went and saw Avatar: The Way of Water on Christmas Day. So that was fun. But yeah, Christmas 2023, there was lots of eating. Did some karaoke as well. There was some karaoke. There was some eating. It was really just a fun time. I really kind of felt almost. It kind of felt starting to feel like home. I mean, I realized I've been outside of the continental United States for exactly. Well, let's see. Today is the 7th, so exactly 5 months today. I have been. Well, out here, it's already the 7th. That's like when I'm recording this live stream. It's already January 7th out here, and I know back in the States it might still be the 6th. I realize we're a day ahead out here, but I've officially been on the island of Chuuk for 5 months. 5 months, almost half a year. I've been outside of mainland United States, and I've never been out of the States this long. And this is my first time really traveling out of the U.S. on my own as an adult. And I feel like I'm, starting to. And we actually just had a faculty retreat, which I'll get to in a second. And it's starting to feel like home. It's starting to feel like I've got this like second family on the other side of the planet. And yeah, I just. I mean, I had really started like seriously considering coming out here, maybe around like this time last year, January, February, and then by March I had officially put a ring on it. I officially signed that contract and said I'm going to teach at Xavier High School. And yeah, I answered the call of service, and I found this family out here. So I'm really, really thankful for that. And yeah, I mean, Chuki's Christmas, felt like home. Even though it felt like I found my home away from home, if you will. Then there was a bit of a shocker. You see, now, I know I've talked about United Airlines on this podcast from time to time, and I'm not going to maybe go into like a whole side rant about United Airlines and or anything. But our flight, and pilots, feel free to comment down below about federal regulations and like getting rest and that sort of thing. I understand that that's important. Our flight was initially supposed to leave December 26th, day after Christmas. It was like a afternoon, evening flight. It was like a 4:30 or like 5 o'clock flight. I don't remember the exact time. And then we're supposed to get to Guam before 7 o'clock. So we'd be to Guam before 7 o'clock. And that was initially the time we were supposed to leave, day and time we were supposed to leave. But then our flight was canceled due to like federal regulations. Like the pilots didn't have an adequate enough time to sleep between flights. So our December 26th flight was canceled initially. And then we just switched flights to the next available flight was on December 28th. And the plan was to stay from December 28th up through January 3rd, come back to Chuuk on January 3rd. But then, so we switched the flight. I switched my hotel reservation I push it back to the 28th, and I'm staying up through January 3rd. And shout out to a Harmon Loop Hotel in Guam. I make that switch. We switch our flights. I switch my hotel reservation. Wake up the next day. Wake up the 26th, and turns out the flight is back on. So thank God I had already packed and everything, and I hadn't unpacked anything because I packed for the 26th. Wake up the 26th. Our flight is back on. So now I have to unswitch my reservation back to its original, and I got to switch back to the original flight of the 26th, and we're coming back on the 1st. So yeah, like just that back and forth. It's like, it happens, but, and sure you can claim Murphy's Law, but, and that's life. But it's like, man, like if I could just maybe just have kind of a streamline, like here's the plan, we're sticking to it. Let's not, deviate from it, kind of thing, you know. So day after Christmas, we left, went to Guam. I had a blast. Had a blast in Guam. Got to see Two Lovers Point. Did some sightseeing. I went to Kmart. For those of you who follow me on social media, you'll know that I saw Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. I was at the Micronesia Mall. Shout out to Micronesia Mall, which was right up the street from my hotel. I actually got to walk there. So I tried out Prime. Prime. I think they're like Logan Paul's energy drink or whatever. I tried out Prime for the first time. Had a lot of fun. A lot of fun. 6 days in Guam. Go to Guam, guys. Maybe stay at the Westin. I went to Hard Rock Cafe. I went to Hard Rock Cafe. I went to Outback Steakhouse. Went to Two Lovers Point. Two Lovers Point. There's a lot of the history of Two Lovers Point, and there's a gift shop. There is a $3 admission fee because it is like a tourist attraction. I'm not sure if it's registered as a historical landmark or not, but yeah. So definitely go to Guam, guys. That's where I got this flag. This is now going to be on my desk. This Guam flag. And again, Guam hand drum. So yeah. I loved Guam. Loved it. A lot of stuff's expensive out there, so you definitely gotta, budget properly for your trip to Guam. But I highly recommend that you all, visit Guam. Come out here to Micronesia. It's chill. You'll enjoy your stay. Definitely, you definitely will enjoy your stay. So yeah, I mean, I was in Guam for New Year's Eve, so I got to bring in the new year first, but before all of you in the mainland United States. I've never really gone out on New Year's Eve. I mean, I've heard that it gets kind of hectic out and about in Guam, not just in Guam, but they say the same thing about Chuuk, people staying on top of cars and stuff. So one of these years, at least just once in my life, I would like to go to Times Square to watch the ball drop. Just one time. Just one time. One time. I have heard a ton of recommendations against it. I've heard that a ton of people have told me, don't do it. It's not worth it. But I want to do it just one time, just so I can say that I did it. Just so I can say that I stood in line for however long and then had to drive back to Connecticut or wherever I'm staying. Connecticut or wherever I'm living at 2:00 in the morning, just so I can say that I've done it for the experience, But yeah, New Year's Eve in Guam, lots of fireworks. They don't have a ball drop, but a ton of fireworks, lots of fun, lots of cool people. Overall, I love that island. Dare I say it's the first vacation I've taken on my own. So can I really say that it's the best vacation that I've been on? I mean, it's the only vacation I've taken by myself. So yeah. But yeah, that's Guam. That was Guam. It was great. It's where America's Day begins. Shout out to any new listeners I have in Guam. Shout out to, actually, big shout out to Archie, who was my taxi driver. All right, who I had a couple times, named Archie. Shout out to you. You know who you are. Yeah, I got to tell people about my podcast. It's funny. I don't even know if maybe And it's funny because like my students, like I think I told my students that I was going to Guam, and some of them said that they would be in Guam as well. And I did see there was one car, like as I was walking back to my hotel, there was one car that just like randomly like beat their horn at me, and then like they started waving. They could see out, they could see me, but like I couldn't really see who was inside the car, so I kind of just waved. I don't know if maybe that was one of my students or one of my listeners. Maybe I'm starting to get recognition. Who knows? Maybe the podcast is really starting to take off quicker than I thought it was, but which is great. Which is great. I'm not complaining or anything, but you know, starting to get recognition, and I'm starting to think I should maybe go to Guam more often. Should be my go-to vacation spot around the holidays. Also, this is the warmest holiday season I've ever had. Yeah, that was the warmest Christmas ever. It was like 85 degrees, which is amazing. I do not like cold weather, despite being from the Northeast. Despite being from Connecticut, and I know Connecticut, we just got some snow. My folks back home are telling me how just got some snow this weekend. It was 85 degrees, 85, maybe 90 degrees on Christmas. It's amazing. Can't complain. Weather's beautiful. I do not like snow. I don't like snow. I don't like cold weather. At least when I go back to Connecticut, I'll be going back to warm weather because our school year ends in May. So I'll probably be back in Connecticut for June. So by then it'll already be, at least in by June, it's like at least in like the 70s and 80s. Like it's almost summer at that point. But it's about to be my warmest birthday because my birthday is January 16th. So my birthday is not this coming Tuesday, but a week from this Tuesday. Now, this Tuesday, January 9th. So a week after that, January 16th. Falls on a Tuesday. Initially, I thought that I'd have to go to work on my birthday, which I do technically still have to. But the way that our schedule is set up is the one day in the cycle that I don't teach. Because like our teaching schedule, I don't know if I've talked about this on the podcast or not, but we have and comment down below if your school's teaching schedule is similar. For those of you that are in high school, we have days like A through H, and it's 50-minute periods, and it's like you teach diagonally. But long story short, F day is like the one day in the cycle that I don't have to teach at all. And then F day, which falls on my birthday, next Tuesday, January 16th. It's an F day. So it's like I technically have work, but I don't teach that day. Hooray. Also, they don't celebrate MLK Day out here, so there's no 3-day weekend. Growing up, it depended on the year. Some years I got lucky and my birthday fell during MLK Day weekend. Last year it fell on MLK Day on that Monday. But in high school, I can only really remember having to go to school on my birthday twice. Freshman year, my birthday fell on a Friday. It always fell during midterms week. Freshman year fell on a Friday. I had my English midterm that day. And I remember my English teacher, he came over and said, hey, Morgan, is today your birthday? I'm like, yes, it is. He's like, happy birthday. I was about to ask, does this mean I don't have to analyze Romeo and Juliet? Nope. No such luck. But yeah, that. And then I think, I'm trying to think, sophomore year, 2016, I think it fell on a Saturday. 2017, 2017, my junior year, fell on a Sunday. And then, no, 2017, it might have fallen on that Monday, I think. 2017 might have fallen on MLK Day, that Monday. Because then 2018, my senior year, right, because 2016 is a leap year. So 2018, my birthday probably fell on a Tuesday because I definitely remember senior year having to go to school on my birthday. And again, I think I also had my AP Literature midterm that day. But that was the day where everybody's coming up to me and saying happy birthday, oh, it's today's birthday. So yeah. And it was actually cold outside. It was actually like middle of January. It's funny for my brother. I think for his like third birthday, his birthday's in August, and so his birthday's in August, and he got an ice cream truck for his birthday. My birthday's in January, so I never got an ice cream truck for my birthday. Like we had a whole ice cream truck come to the house. Shout out to my brother if you're listening. You may or may not remember this because you were turning 3 years old. So we had an ice cream truck come to the house. I was probably, let's see, it's 2010. So I was 9. I was 9 years old at the time, and I never had an ice cream truck for my birthday. Okay, like let me know down in the comments for all you Leos, for all you Geminis, you Leos, maybe even some Virgos. Have you ever had an ice cream truck for your birthday? Because I never had that. Because I'm a Capricorn. Because my birthday's in January, so I never had that ice cream truck treatment. I'm not jealous or anything, okay? But but this year will be my first warm birthday. Right? It's gonna be like 80, maybe 90 degrees. I think we're probably in the dry season. Like I think, with global warming and with climate change, the whole distinction between like the rainy season and the dry season out here like is kind of irrelevant. Like it's kind of all just blended together. It's usually either one of two climates or weathers patterns, I guess. Like right now it's sunny. But it's always either sunny or rainy. Sun and rain. That's it. No hail or anything out here. I know back in Connecticut, we started getting hail over the summer, which is not normal. Like it doesn't normally hail in Connecticut. So that's how. So for all you climate change, all you flat earthers and climate change deniers, have at it in the comments. Feel free to send all your hate mail. I'm not gonna read it. But yeah, like in Connecticut, it would like hail. It'd be sunny, and then it would just start like downpouring for like 10 minutes, and then it would like be violently downpouring, and then it would start hailing. And then it's sunny again. Like, huh? What? Okay. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Where I'm at. How my holiday season was, and how it was, how it went, how I'm doing. Let me know in the comments how you guys do. How's your day going? How's your day going? Your week going? Got any big plans for 2024? Just gonna be the year that we all rise up, that we level up in life, that we improve our lives. 2024 is gonna be a great year. I got faith. All right. Now on to some of the celebrities that we loved and lost in 2023. Just a variety. And I'm not going to include all of them, but some highlights. Tom Wilkinson. Tom Wilkinson, the 2-time Oscar-nominated British actor who appeared in films including The Full Monty, Shakespeare in Love, and The Best Exotic Marigold Hotel. He died December 30th at the age of 75. Yep, Tom Wilkinson. I know him as he played Lyndon B. Johnson in the movie Selma. For those of you who have seen the movie Selma, he played LBJ in Selma. And I know he played one of the reporters in the movie Snowden. Snowden, which was a movie that we watched when I was in high school in my Intro to Film Studies class. In Intro to Film Studies class, we watched the Citizen4 documentary, and then we watched Oliver Stone's Snowden, which I remember my film teacher saying how like the film quality was like terrible, and like the picture quality, like it really was not Oliver Stone's masterpiece. This is the same guy who wrote the screenplay to Scarface. But yes, R.I.P. Tom Wilkinson. Lee Sun Kyun. Forgive me if I'm mispronouncing that. South Korean actor who starred in the 2020 Oscar Best Picture winner Parasite, died on December 27th at the young age of 48. Yeah, Parasite, that is a movie that I really, really, really need to check out. Shout out to any listeners that I have in South Korea, any of my listeners, any of my API listeners, Asian and Pacific Islander listeners, whether you're here in the Pacific, in Asia or in the States, wherever in the world. Shout out to my API community, the API community that listens to Cobbs Corner. Andre Braugher, this was a shocker. Andre Braugher, two-time Emmy-winning actor who starred in the hit television series Brooklyn Nine-Nine and Homicide: Life on the Street. December 11th, after a brief illness. He was only 61 years old. That's young. That is young. 61 years young. Shoot. Andre Braugher, yeah, and I remember him from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. He was actually one of the captains in Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer as well. Ryan O'Neal, who I'm not familiar with. Oscar-nominated actor Ryan O'Neal, who came to prominence on TV's Peyton Place and became a top star in the 1970s in films including Love Story, What's Up Doc, Paper Moon, and Barry Lyndon, died on December the 8th. Really big one here is Matthew Perry, the actor known for playing Chandler Bing on the hit NBC sitcom Friends, died on October the 28th, 2023. He was only 54 years old. 54. I think they said he drowned. I want to say he drowned. Yeah. 54 years young. Tragic. Richard Roundtree, who starred in Shaft, he passed away on October 24th. R.I.P. Richard Roundtree. Burt Young, who played Paulie in the Rocky films. He passed away on October 18th. I want to say he was in his 80s. Yeah. Suzanne Summers, star of Three's Company, died October 15th. Michael Gambon, who played Dumbledore in the Harry Potter films, he died September 27th. Shout out to my Harry Potter fandom. Shout out to my listeners who are fans of Harry Potter. Jimmy Buffett. Songwriter Jimmy Buffett, whose laid-back, good-humored, often tropically themed brand of country-laced pop spawned a lucrative one-man business empire. He died September 2nd. He was 76. Okay. Some musicians. Bob Barker, host of The Price is Right and Truth or Consequences. He was 99 years old. He died August 26th. Paul Robbins, Pee Wee Herman, died on July 30th after a private bout of cancer. He was only 70 years old. Tony Bennett, master pop vocalist who had a professional career spanning 8 decades. 8 decades. Career spanning 8 decades. With a #1 album at age 85. He died July 21st at the old age of 96. So, lived a long life. And, Tina Turner, of course, soulful diva Tina Turner Had a lengthy run of 60s and 70s R&B hits and struck major pop stardom in the 80s. She died on May 24th. She was 83 years old. So, R.I.P. Tina Turner. Our thoughts and prayers are with friends and family. Really, our thoughts and prayers here at Cobbs Corner. Our thoughts and prayers are with the friends and family of all the deceased. Jerry Springer, Jerry. Former Cincinnati news anchor and mayor who came to preside over the controversial and extremely profitable talk show bearing his name, died on April 27th. He was only 79 years old. I remember Jerry Springer. He used to host America's Got Talent way back when, in like 2007. I think he was the first host of America's Got Talent before Nick Cannon. Nick Cannon came in 2009. And then I remember, of course, the Jerry Springer Show, which then eventually I think went off the air because I know they used to film Jerry Springer in Stamford, Connecticut. I think Stamford, Connecticut, they filmed Jerry Springer, the Maury Show, and now the Steve Wilkos Show, all in the same building in Stamford, Connecticut. I don't know the exact year that Jerry Springer went off the air and then became Judge Jerry. He had the show Judge Jerry. And then, of course, the Maury Show, which went off the air this year. Maury Povich, who said he's ready to retire after like 30 plus years on the air. Steve Wilkos, who was the security guard on Jerry Springer, he's got his own show now, the Steve Wilkos Show. R.I.P. to Jerry Springer. Harry Belafonte, singer, actor, producer, and activist. Harry Belafonte, who spawned a calypso craze in the U.S. with his music and blazed new trails for African-American performance, died April 25th of congestive heart failure. He was 96 years old. R.I.P. to Harry Belafonte. Last one I'm going to read is, of course, Lance Reddick. Lance Reddick, who appeared in major TV series The Wire, Fringe, and Bosch, and films like, of course, the John Wick franchise. Apparently he died peacefully of natural causes on March 17th. He was only 60 years old. And I was just rewatching John Wick Chapter 4 the other day, and as of this live stream, John Wick Chapter 4 is not available on any major streaming platform. You'd have to rent it. And in the credits, after the first set of credits, it says like in loving memory of Lance, or like in memory of Lance Reddick, and I know, and like they even like, I know he died like a week before the movie came out, but I don't want to get into like spoiler detail, but the way that they like honored Lance Reddick in the movie and then in the credits, it was a very, very beautiful send off. So, R.I.P. to anyone and everyone that we lost this past year. And our thoughts and prayers are with the friends and family. Our prayers are also with the families of Jackie Chan and Bruce Willis, as those two men are approaching the age of 70 and are having health complications. Bruce Willis, as he deals with he's got some form of like dementia or like memory loss, and Jackie Chan was recently hospitalized around New Year's Eve. Not sure if he's out yet, but we pray for speedy recovery for both of those titans of Hollywood as they enter their old age. So yeah, those are folks to be loved and lost in 2023. Looking forward to 2024. It's a new year, guys, and I gotta say, 2023 was a great year. 2024, we are only going to continue to make even bigger moves. All right, with the AFI series, the American Film Institute's, top 100 greatest films of all time. I will hopefully get through the first 25 movies by the end of the year. We will hit 100 episodes before the end of the year. I'm going to have a big announcement on episode 100, so you gotta stay tuned. You gotta click that bell, whether you're watching this on YouTube or you're listening on a streaming platform. You gotta click that bell so you get notified when I upload. As of now, there's no official uploading schedule, weekly or bi-weekly. Talk time, I'm gonna do my best to do it, every other Sunday. Maybe like try to do it every other Sunday at 8 a.m. But that's not 100% guaranteed. But 2024, we're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep going. We are the one-stop shop for all things TV, film, and pop culture. So we're gonna continue to give you coverage of, not just, coverage of, I guess, Marvel, DC, as well as Star Wars. And it's funny, I realized I actually haven't reviewed any of the Star Wars films properly. But we're gonna continue to give you the coverage of Marvel, of DC, of Star Wars, the new updates in the news, the movies, the shows, and how it's kind of looking like kind of a slow year for those three franchises. Still no new Star Wars movie. Deadpool 3 may be Marvel's only movie this year. I know we've got Madam Web, and there's that Sony universe. Kraven the Hunters coming out in August. That whole like Sony Marvel universe. But as far as like the MCU goes, Deadpool 3 will most likely be the only movie this year, which I'm okay with, to be honest. Let me know in the comments down below. But like, do we really need like 3 movies a year every year from Marvel? It's like sometimes it's nice to just kind of take a breath and not rush through all this content and stuff. Not rush through putting out all this content. So, yeah, 2024. I realized that even with the AFI's top 100 greatest films of all time, most of the movies are not from this century. I don't think not a single one of them. Well, there may be 1 or 2 that are from the 21st century, but the ones that I've reviewed so far are all pre-Y2K. They're all from the 20th century. So you figure it's been 100 years, 100 movies. So we're going to continue with that. We're doing, I think, next couple movies. We got Star Wars. We got Star Wars, and then 2001: A Space Odyssey. Again, I'm not doing them in order because if there's a movie that's based on a book, I want to read the book first. So it takes time, for me to actually sit and read the book and then watch the movie and then record the episode. And so, but there is a playlist. Check the playlist for those of you watching this on YouTube. Check the playlist that I will link to at the end of this video. The AFI's top 100. All of those episodes will be in like the order that they're put on the list, in the ranked order, not necessarily the order that I actually put the reviews out. So yeah. It's at some point with Comic Boys podcast, if you guys remember, about a year ago, we did our Fantasy Movie League for 2023, and not entirely sure how I did. At some point, we're going to record kind of our finale for Fantasy Movie League 2023, and maybe draft picks for 2024. My 2024, we got some good movies coming out, and it's unfortunate that I'm in a country. Well, not in a country. I'm on an island where there's no movie theater. I think there's a movie theater in Pohnpei. I think the capital. There might be a movie theater out there, or maybe if I go to Palau. But for the most part, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. That was the first movie that I saw in 6 months. Okay, 5 months. Yeah, because I think because Barbie was the last movie I saw before I left the States, and that was July. So yeah, a good 5 months without going to a single movie theater. without even having the option to go to the movie theater. So yeah. But we got some hitters for next year. I'm just gonna run through them quickly. Fall Guy, Fall Guy with Ryan Gosling. I mean, this looks like a classic. Not like maybe kind of similar to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Shout out to my fellow Quentin Tarantino fans. Unfortunately, it looks like his 10th movie is not coming out this year. It might be coming out next year, 2025. But Fall Guy, it's about like kind of like a stuntman in Hollywood and how like they're kind of the unsung heroes of Hollywood. It's like we've got the main actor, but then we've also got the stunt guy. They're the fall guy, the guy who does the stunts and that sort of thing. You'd be surprised the amount of celebrities that actually have fall guys, that actually have stunt doubles. Like The Rock actually has a stunt double, and so yeah, and it just judging by the trailer, like it looks pretty. Looks like a pretty fun, pretty exciting movie. Got a pretty stacked cast: Emily Blunt, Ryan Gosling, Aaron Taylor Johnson, who I haven't watched. Not sure if he did any movies in 2023, but the last movie I saw him in was Bullet Train, which was awesome. And so Fall Guy looks pretty promising. Argyle with Bryce Dallas Howard, Samuel L. Jackson, Dua Lipa, John Cena, Henry Cavill, of course. It's got a pretty stacked cast. It's got an ensemble cast. And Argyle looks like a solid kind of like either spy film or like parody or like spy parody film. So Argyle, which I think comes out soon, that's going to be a hit this year for sure. Yeah, for sure. Argyle, definitely got to check that one out. If not in theaters, then as soon as it's available to rent, I will be checking. Yeah, all these movies. Like if I'm not able to see them in theaters because I will not be in the States, I'll still be out here in Chuk. I will, once they're available for rent on Google Play, I will rent it, watch it, let you guys know what I think. So, Ballerina. I might actually be able to see in theaters because it comes out in June. It doesn't come out till June, and our school year ends in May. So I want to say June 6th. I think that Friday, Ballerina, and it's a John Wick spinoff that is about the Ruska Romanov, the Russian family. If you remember, for those of you who remember John Wick Chapter 3, there was the theater that he went to where there was the Russian ballerinas, and where there's like the Russian ballerinas, and John Wick came to tear his ticket, and so it's a spinoff within the John Wick universe that I think it's going to star Keanu Reeves. Despite the ending of John Wick 4, I think it is going to star Keanu Reeves because it's like a filler movie that's going to take place between John Wick's 3 and 4. I think John Wick is in the movie, but it's not about John Wick. It's like about someone else. There was a teaser trailer online that looked partially fan made. So Ballerina, definitely looking forward to Ballerina this summer, especially after John Wick 4. I know Chad Stahelski said he needs like a 2-year break from the franchise. I mean, John Wick turns 10 this year. The first John Wick came out in 2014. Came out 10 years ago. So, John Wick turns 10. Keanu Reeves turns 60 this year. So you figure you do this one role, and you're middle-aged, you do one role for like 10 years. And so it's taxing. It's taxing. Joker Fale à Deux. The first Joker. I loved it. I gotta rewatch the Joker at some point. I'm liking what they're doing with this sort of like DC doing movies for their villains. I love Joker. I liked the Batman, and the Joker was kind of similar to Taxi Driver in a way. It was kind of similar to Taxi Driver. I mean, there's the iconic stare scene, and and yeah, just kind of gave us a different window into the Joker and into like the Batman and it's kind of told like from the villain's perspective and that sort of thing. So I love Joker. I only wish that I saw Joker in theaters though. I wish I saw it in theaters. And I know it's a part of like DC's like Elseworlds universe, and it's not a part of the DC universe. RIP DC. Well, not RIP, but like DC Extended Universe is officially done. Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, they went out with a bang. Joker Folie à Deux, they're bringing in Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn. So I think it's going to be good. It's going to be good. I think it's set to come out. I think it's set to come out in October. So I probably won't be able to see it in theaters, unfortunately, because I'll be in year 2 here at Xavier. But Joker 2, Folie à Deux, that will definitely be one for the books or for the history books, I guess. Yeah. It's going to be good. This next movie, I don't know. I don't know about. This next movie on my list, Civil War. Civil War. It's a movie by A24, and I feel like maybe it might be entertaining as long as you don't live in the United States. I mean, it's literally about like a modern day civil war. Like I was watching the trailer, and like apparently now it's from A24. Big shout out to A24. I really love the content that you guys put out. Can't wait to have one of the producers or executives from A24 here on Cobbs Corner. I cannot wait. And A24, which was allowed to stay active during the writer's strike. I think like the WGA, SAG-AFTRA, they gave A24 specific permission to keep filming, to keep writing during the writer's strike this summer. And I got to say, I mean, A24, they produced some pretty great content. There was Euphoria. There was the controversial show The Idol, which HBO has decided not to renew. Uncut Gems is a gem. The movie The Last Black Man in San Francisco, which I think was Jonathan Major's first movie. But yeah, Civil War, I just feel like there's going to be, like 2024 is an election year. So I just feel like there's going to be too much of like a political agenda behind it. I get that it's like a fictional, like 21st century American civil war. Like if we were to have like a civil war today, you know, I think judging by the trailer, apparently like Texas and California like secede from the Union, and like they have their own U.S. flag with just 2 stars, and it's yeah. I don't know. I mean, and I'm not in the United States right now, and I mean, you know, I've always said at the Cobbs Corner, we're not here to push any kind of political agenda on y'all. I mean, I know I've talked about when I reviewed Rocky IV, I had to talk a bit about the Cold War just for historical context. So, and again, Rocky IV is my favorite of the Rocky movies, and you know, Stallone I think kind of landed in some hot water after that movie because it was about the Cold War and it was very time period specific. So I feel like maybe this movie might be time period specific, and who knows, maybe 10, 20 years from now we'll be reviewing and analyzing Civil War. But I don't want to say that's my worst night. I don't want to say that like that's my worst nightmare, but it's like, okay, all right. You have the Civil War, and then it's like, are you trying to tell the viewers who to vote for in November? Or yeah, might be a little too on the nose. So, Civil War, may or may not watch that movie. If any of you go to see Civil War, let me know what you think. Nosferatu. If I'm not mistaken, the original 1924 German silent film, Nosferatu, is available on YouTube for free. I watched it a number of years ago. It's good. And this is like a 2024 remake of the German classic Nosferatu. I think that was the very first vampire film. So I mean, yeah, Nosferatu looks pretty promising. There's a teaser trailer, and I remember like the original was just so good. Even for the silent era. So I mean, yeah, who knows? Nosferatu. I'm not the biggest horror movie person. I don't know if I've talked about this on the podcast or not, but horror is not really my thing. So, but yeah, Nosferatu. Might check this one out. Might be a hitter for 2024. Lastly, Mickey 17. Mickey 17 is 2024 film, and I'm just okay. So it stars Robert Pattinson. We got Mark Ruffalo, Toni Collette, Naomi Aki, Chelsea Lee, and Stephen Yeun. Stephen Yeun, who recently dropped out of Thunderbolts. It's set to come out March 29th, and essentially a disposable employee is sent on a human expedition to colonize the ice world Niflheim. After one iteration dies, a new body is regenerated with most of his memories intact. Okay, so we're getting into like human cloning. It's a sci-fi thriller directed by Bong Joon-ho. Bong Joon-ho, who directed Parasite, as well as Snowpiercer, the movie. Yep. Parasite. He did. Did he do Snowpiercer? Yep, he did. Snowpiercer, the movie from 2013 with Chris Evans. Okja, which I've heard of, I haven't seen. So yeah, Bong Joon-ho. So he's got a pretty solid resume. Mickey 17. Robert Pattinson. Everybody was clowning Robert Pattinson when he got tapped to play the Batman. All right, but he got tapped to play Batman. Everybody was clowning him because everybody knows him as Edward from Twilight. But if you look at Robert Pattinson's acting career, or just over the last 10 years, like just going back to, because let's see, I think Breaking Dawn Part 2 was 2012. So maybe going back to, we'll say 2013, go back 11 years. Over the last 11 years, like he has made a name for himself in the independent space. Like the mainstream role that he had was Edward in the Twilight saga. But if you look at his roles post Twilight, like all the movies that he did post Twilight, he did a ton of like independent movies. I saw he was in some astronaut film. He was in Lighthouse with Willem Dafoe. So he's really gone the independent route and really started to take on more serious and more grounded roles. So really him playing Batman was only a natural progression of that. So and now he's in this sci-fi thriller, Mickey 17. There's like a 45-second teaser trailer. 45-second like teaser trailer for the movie. But they've got a stacked cast, people you've seen before. Yeah, people you've seen before. So Mickey 17, I can't wait till like the full trailer drops for this movie. Unfortunately, again, it comes out March 29th, so I will most likely not see it in theaters, but that's all right. So those are looking ahead to 2024. Those are kind of our plans. I guess I'll end today's episode with a bit of a update as for like where we are as a community, as a podcast. So I think I was looking through my Spotify Wrapped, and it looked like for 2023, my most shared episode was episode 49, The Count of Monte Cristo. So thank you to everybody who has listened to that episode. Just looking at, as of the recording of this podcast, I think I was streamed in 8 countries worldwide, apparently. And I got the most new listeners I got the most new listeners in the FSM, in the Federated States of Micronesia. So shout out to my listeners here in the FSM. That's where I think the majority of my new listeners in 2023 were right here in the FSM. Let's see. It's funny. My first episode, Iron Man, is still my most listened to. I have like the most plays on that episode. Top episode. Well, let's see. My top episode for 2023 was Groundhog Day, episode 46. It was streamed 281% more than my average episodes. Just going to go country by country and it's going to go country by country. And this is just as of the recording of the podcast. 84% of my listeners in the United States. Shout out to my listeners in the States. 10% of my listeners are right here in the FSM. 3% of my listeners, hang on. Let's go back. And 3% of my listeners are in Germany. Shout out to my listeners in Deutschland, Germany. Australia, Canada, United Kingdom. Yes. It's up to my listeners in Down Under, my listeners in the Great White North, my listeners across the pond in the United Kingdom, my listeners in Ukraine, Cobbs Corner, we stand with Ukraine. Guam to my listeners in Jamaica. Hello to my listeners in Solomon Islands. Bonjour to my listeners in France, to my listeners in Denmark, South Africa. Marhaba to my listeners in Saudi Arabia. Listeners in Austria, Philippines, India, Ghana, Belgium, Italy, and the Czech Republic. Those are all the countries that I have listeners in. So my most popular platform is Amazon Alexa. So shout out to everybody who's using Amazon Alexa. That's really been taking off apparently. And thank you to all of my listeners, who have listened. Thank you to everybody who's listened to my podcast, who has shared it, who continues to listen, continues to share it. Tell it, tell your friends, tell your family members. We are a community, and I intend only to continue to grow our community as others in our space of podcasts are starting to take off. Big shout out to Comic Boys Podcast or CB Media Network, and he's got multiple podcasts going now, and he's got like a whole, not team, but like he's got like a whole like podcast network that he's set up now. Big shout out to Lights Camera Rant. Shout out to Lights Camera Rant for hitting like 8,000 subscribers. All right, I mean, yeah, his podcast really took off this year. Shout out to Lee. Can't wait to do another episode together. And shout out to all 142 of my subscribers. We got 142 subscribers on YouTube right now. I think that by the end of the year, we'll be sitting at a cool, 500. 500 by the end of the year. I think we can get to 500 by the end of the year, maybe. Yeah. Over 200 for sure. Big shout out to all 142 of my subscribers on YouTube. And I am going to start posting later on this year. I'm going to start doing some content that's exclusive to YouTube, some YouTube only content, and content that'll be on YouTube and not on like the podcast listening platforms. So you guys will have to not only listen to my podcast, not only listen to my podcast on podcast streaming platforms, but also subscribe to the YouTube channel, because I am going to start posting more exclusive content, like content that's exclusive to the YouTube channel. So stay tuned for that. As far as the Instagram, we're sitting at 141 followers. Again, I feel like we can get that number up to like 200 by the end of the year. Over 200, maybe 300 by the end of the year on Instagram. Now let's continue to grow our community. Facebook. I am on Facebook. I don't know if I mentioned that. Facebook, got 87 of y'all are following me on Facebook. Pretty much anything that I post on TikTok will also be posted on Facebook. Instagram is kind of the flagship social media platform for Cobbs Corner. But typically, if I post a video or a promotion on one social media platform, I'll make sure that's posted on all of them. So, shout out to anybody who follows me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Threads. TikTok, we're sitting at 96 followers. That number will go up to over 200 before the end of the year. It will. I'm going to say that now. And Threads, I like Threads because it is still kind of a developing platform. But shout out to my 39 followers who follow me on Threads. You know who you are. Anyone who follows me on Instagram, you should also follow me on Threads because they're connected via like Meta. So yeah, I mean, that's just where we are at the start of 2024. And I thank each and every one of you for listening, for liking, commenting, subscribing, listening to the very end of this episode. And do not forget to like this episode. Comment down below. What are you excited for in 2024? What are your most anticipated movies for the coming year? I want to know. Want to know down below, and make sure that you are subscribe to this podcast and click that bell so you get notified when I post. Tune in to Talk Time with Morgan Cobbs Sunday mornings at 8 a.m. Chuk Standard Time. So that's 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It'll be available live on YouTube, 8 a.m. Chuk Standard Time, and then everywhere else the next day. So just make sure you tune in. Just make sure you tune in here every Sunday morning at 8 a.m. And be sure to check out City Lights, City Lights, episode 69, and be sure to click the video, click any of the videos that are on the screen now. That are on the screen now. That are the most recent episodes for Cobbs Corner. And again, feel free to leave us a comment, leave us a review wherever you're listening from. And I hope you all enjoyed your stay here at Cobbs Corner, your one-stop shop for all things TV, film, and pop culture. I will talk to all of you in the next episode. Peace.